Um, Hello everyone, Membro here, and I just wanted to react to ESPN's way too early top 25, and already giving away a little spoiler there. They said Alabama number 1, but anyway, let's see here. So Bengals won. They looked really good in that first half. I didn't see the second half, but they looked pretty good in the first half. I knew they were going to win. The Bengals are they're just a better team than the Raiders. They are. Yeah, but let's get into it. I'm actually gonna share my live stream too. Okay. So yeah, now that we got all of that stuff out of the way, let's actually get into it. So as you saw, Alabama number 1, and I think it's simply for the reason that their team is very young, and they're going to have a lot of good returning guys, and obviously Nick Saban is still there. It says, it wasn't the strongest team of Nick Saban's era. You saw the cracks in them throughout the season. Obviously, they lost to Texas A&M, but they're still really young. Bryce Young, he literally was, I think he's a sophomore, so he's still got another year to go, and he was a Heisman. They're bringing in Ricks, an All-American, to help out the secondary. See, they're getting, some new guys. Jamison Williams is going to leave, although that injury is iffy there. They're losing some guys, Josh Jobe, Jordan Battle, Brian Robinson, and John Mechie, but they're going to reload. And yeah, I think the defense is definitely going to be getting better, because as you can see, they lose a few defensive guys, but usually they're losing a lot more people, a lot more guys. So, I think they're still they're going to get more experience with the defense, and they're going to bring in new guys. So I can definitely see why they say Alabama's number 1, and obviously it's just a sure bet. And then Ohio State Buckeyes number 2. I definitely agree with this. Ohio State looked really good against Utah, which was a very good team ending the season. As you see, you got guys leaving, but I believe there's Smith and Jigma is still going to be there. Receiving core still in the good hands of Smith and Jigma. So, I mean, that's a good sign. Smith and Jigma just went off. Travion Henderson and CJ Stroud are coming out. Yeah, I think this Ohio State team is going to be a lot better than last year's, and last year's was still really good with Stroud. So, I mean, yeah, and they still got people coming in, just straight up athletes there. So, And then Georgia Bulldogs, number 3. They're going to be losing, as you can see, they're going to be losing like their entire defense. Because, especially that front seven. So that's going to be tough to replace. They also lost Dan Lanning. So yeah. It does say Stetson Bennett is eligible for another season. Saying probably battle with JT Daniels. I mean, after that championship performance from Stetson Bennett, I don't know how you can go back to JT Daniels. Honestly, I don't know how you can. He really played out, out of his mind there in that fourth quarter and was clutch. So, I'd give the lead to Stetson Bennett for once at this time, in terms of quarterbacking. But yeah, I mean, Georgia Bulldogs, I don't think they're going to be as good as Ohio, at least talent-wise, and also the fact that they're losing like all their defense. Stars expected to return only 5 from the defense. You got 9 from the offense, so that's a good sign. But still, that defense I don't think is going to be as good as this year's. Obviously, it's going to be really hard to top or even stay the same as the defense this year, just because, just geez, it's that was in a historic defense. But yeah. So, yeah, Georgia number 3. I can see that. And then they got Texas A&M. Aggies number 4. I don't know about this one. I mean, they're bringing in a lot of recruits. Max Johnson headlining, I think. But look at all the guys they're losing to. I think this team might be a little overrated considering, just because it's Jimbo Fisher. Yes, they beat Alabama, but they were a little inconsistent last season, and they're losing a lot of their starters. Yeah, I don't know about that being this high for Texas A&M. For Michigan as well, I don't know if they can repeat the success that they had just because it just seemed like this one year was so special. But we'll see. Maybe Jim Harbaugh can keep it up and get 2 straight wins against Ohio State. That would be big. But yeah, and then moving on, you got Notre Dame. They're always going to be highly ranked. They're always bringing in great recruits. The Marcus Freeman era didn't go as planned. They blew the 21-point lead to Oklahoma State. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Marcus Freeman era goes. I think the players, I feel like he's more of a player's coach, and I think they'll respect him and all of that. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep up the recruiting that he did, like Brian Kelly. So yeah, and the number 7 Utah Utes, they're going to be losing a lot of people, but they are in the good hands of Cam Rising. I respect ESPN. They finally are respecting the Utes. This is going to be the highest the Utes have ever been ranked in the preseason. There's going to be a lot of expectations on them. Just reading through here, disappointing loss. But the Utes did add big transfer. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm sorry, but from Florida, and he was the 2nd leading tackler last year, so that is big. Cam Rising, obviously, is going to be the starter, and they're going to have big games against Florida and San Diego State. So, if Utah can run the season without losing it, early season. They beat San Diego State and Florida, who is usually good. And just with one loss, I think Utah would be respected enough to be a playoff team. So, yeah. NC State. I just don't see this one. Like, why are they ranking NC State of all people to be this high? We're disappointed again. He threw for over 3,000 yards and 35 touchdowns, so that's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know why they are so high on NC State. That just seems random. Oklahoma State Cowboys. I think I see them. They're losing Warren and Tay Martin, but I think I see the Oklahoma State Cowboys kind of taking over in the Big 12. Especially considering Lincoln Riley has left Oklahoma, and Oklahoma, honestly, it seems like kind of a mess over there. I think Oklahoma State will take the lead as the new Big 12 team. It looked a little bit for a while, and that was going to be Texas, but no, it's Oklahoma State, and also Baylor too, which I think that they should be in here. I don't know. Michigan State Spartans. I think it's going to be really hard to predict this team considering they're losing Kenneth Walker. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Clemson Tigers. Yeah, the Clemson Tigers are going to bounce back next season. I think it was really an off year. Oyelangale, I can never pronounce it. DJ says he threw more interceptions than touchdowns. Yeah, I think he's going to be pushed by someone else. So this guy Klubnik enrolling. So yeah, if the Tigers find a good quarterback, they're going to be back on where they just were. Ducks had a very disappointing end to their season, and they lost Murray Cristobal. It just went all downhill. But for the good sign, Dan Lenning comes in from Georgia. So they're keeping with what Cristobal was going with, and just being more of a physical, tough team. They're getting Bo Nix, so I think definitely Oregon. They're not going anywhere. They're losing Kayvon Thibodeau. That's gonna hurt. But I think Bo Nix is a better quarterback than Anthony Brown. I just do. So Ducks will reload definitely, and they'll be contending against the Utes. Noah Sewell's still there. Manning's still there. It says they open against Georgia and they play BYU. That's gonna be tough for Oregon. To open against Georgia in Atlanta, like, geez. Like, why? Okay, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a neutral field. Then why the heck is it in Atlanta, Georgia? Like, what the heck? That doesn't make any sense. So I think my prediction for Oregon is Dan Lenning will need a couple years to get Oregon back into that right up there in the playoff contention. I think really as hard as it is to say for an Oregon fan myself, I think they had that one big win against Ohio State, and that was kind of it. And like they weren't like, obviously they were really pretenders, and they weren't really. They had one good game, like one really good game in the entire season. Maybe against UCLA, that was a fun one to watch at least. But that was like their one really good game, and it doesn't show that Verdell is leaving. I know he got a big injury, but Verdell and maybe even Dye aren't leaving. I mean, it doesn't really say with them. That's some good running game still. So, I can see where they're coming from with this number 12 ranking for the Ducks. They just I don't know, maybe they just weren't focused enough because Cristobal knew he's going to Miami. Houston Cougars, number 13. Wake Forest. Wow. It looks like they're going to be keeping their quarterback Sam Hartman. So that's a good sign. Yeah. So Demon Deacon staying in there. Iowa, they're always going to contend. They play their same type of football. Baylor, they're saying that Baylor is going to drop a little. Obviously, it looks like they are losing a lot of players. But they had a big victory against Ole Miss. Ole Miss did lose Corral, and it'll be interesting to see where his kind of draft stock leads. I think Oklahoma is really, I know they're going to have a lot of talent, but I don't know if Caleb Williams is going to stick around, and really they're a little bit of a mess. Brent Venables, where is he from? Georgia. I don't know. This Gabriel guy, 8,000 yards, 70 touchdowns. So they're always getting good quarterbacks. BYU, Algier, I think his name is. He's leaving, so that's gonna hurt for them. But I think the Cougars have climbed the ladder, and they have they're beating their big rival Utah now, and they won the Pac-12. They went 5-0 against the Pac-12 last season. And is BYU going to the Big 12? I forgot if they were one of the teams. But they're going to have a tough schedule. Baylor, Arkansas, Oregon, Boise State, Stanford, and Notre Dame. Wow, that's going to be a tough schedule for BYU, but Bearcats, yeah, I'm sorry to say, but I think they're going to fall off a little bit. Yeah. Riddler's leaving. I think that they're going to fall off a little bit. They're not going to go 13-0, but they're not going to totally plummet. They'll probably be top 25 team. Arkansas made a good enough leap last year, and I expect that to keep going. Kentucky too. They kind of had a sneaky good season, and then they're putting USC in here. I think really just because of Lincoln Riley. Yeah, I think definitely. Yeah, they got their quarterbacks entering the transfer portals and leaving. I think he's gonna want Caleb Williams. That will help USC. If USC has Caleb Williams this first season, then okay, yeah, they'll definitely contend with Utah in the South. But if they don't, I don't know how much I trust USC, at least for this first year and maybe next, couple of years for Riley. But soon enough, Lincoln Riley will get USC in playoff position. Rebels, look at all these players leaving. They got a lot of key additions too, but they're obviously losing Corral, so that's gonna hurt. Wisconsin to me is kind of look are kind of like Iowa, and that they're always pretty consistent. It doesn't look like there's any key players coming to the team, though. There's just like all key players leaving. That's a little bit of a worry there. South Carolina, they're gonna have Spencer Rattler. I think this is a good spot to start over for Spencer Rattler, and yeah, I think the Gamecocks are going to be doing better than usual this coming year, just because Spencer Rattler, he's still a good quarterback. He just got beaten out by an even better one. So yeah, and that's the top 25. No Auburn in there, no LSU. First teams that come to mind, no Penn State. I'm just thinking through the teams, just of who they might have missed. The Big 12, they could have another surprise team. Also, the Pac-12 maybe. But just thinking to it, the SEC and the Big Ten have dominated this college football playoff era, and as last season was no exception. And I think it's just probably going to stay that way, because the kids want, to go to the successful schools so that they can get, national attention. That's just going to, the best players are going to be going to the best schools. So it's just kind of locked in this loop here, where it's the SEC, you had an all SEC championship game for the second time in this playoff era. Again, it was Georgia and Bama. Yeah, and really, when you think about it, the playoff was also created to be like, okay, we got to stop this two conference, both teams from the same conference deal, when it was like LSU and Alabama, and it was, a really boring game. Yeah, I think it's just gonna kind of stay this way, and Kirby Smart is, he finally got over the hump of Alabama, so I think it's finally like, okay, we're not scared of Alabama anymore. I think kind of what Dabo Swinney had to do, and it was really quick for him. It was just the next year, Deshaun Watson and those Clemson teams were so good. It really takes an all-time team to beat Alabama. An all-time quarterback like Trevor Lawrence and so many skilled guys on Clemson's side, and then an all-time defense for Georgia, and a historic, team like Ohio State back in 2014. Those types of teams beat Alabama, but yeah. Anyway, kind of getting sidetracked. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of expectations on Utah, and it'll be interesting to see how they go about it. Utah and Oregon are playing Georgia and Florida, I believe, so that those will be interesting openers, to say the least. Obviously, I think there's going to be, you got to find out the depth charts and everything, but this is just a way too early top 25. Yeah. I'm just going to go quickly to the NFL just because I want to check on it. Buffalo is beating New England. Obviously, Cincinnati won. My San Francisco 49ers playing the Cowboys. That's going to be a good one. Yeah, I think I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you all for watching. And I'll see you next time. Peace.